Hey everybody, how the heck are you? My name is Fastidious. Welcome to my channel, and as you can see, we are not alone here today. We are joined by the very cool, fantastic Beard Energy Gaming. You want to introduce yourself, Beard?
What's up, Fasty man? Thanks for having me on. Again, guys, my name is Greg. My channel is Beard Energy Gaming, and I pretty much on the same level as Fasty here. A lot of Watch Our Realms content. You'll find more little guides and things like that, and I'm probably a little bit more on the pay-to-win side than the free-to-play side, but hey, we all have our own perspectives. I think you can get a little bit from everyone. So, Fasty, thank you for having me on.
100%, man, and absolutely. So we're gonna have another video on Greg's channel, on Beard Energy Gaming's channel, where we really get into that perspective shift between free to play and pay to win. On this video today, we'll be doing something different, but before we get into that, I do want to plug Beard's channel. It is so good. I'm very much a fan, and now we are collaborators. I'm gonna card up to it right now. You'll also see it in the description of this video. Show the guy some love. He deserves way more views right now. He's got the good stuff. All right, you ready, man?
Yeah, let's get into it.
So guys, today we're gonna do the three things in Watch of Realms, the three things in this beautiful game that we kind of love and hate. We have this simultaneous kind of one side of the coin, the other side of the coin relationship with. So without further ado, you wanna go ahead and take the first point there?
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
So yeah, let's talk about the gameplay, like tower defense. A lot of people get scared of that term. I've seen other creators for other games I play talk about, oh, tower defense, I'm not gonna play that. And so they never even try Watcher of Realms, but I just think it's so different. And so I don't know what your experience is, Fasty. What do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I was one of those people, if I'm being honest. I saw the graphics. You guys know I have a raid background, so I thought the graphics were kind of my style, this kind of dark fantasy RPG style. But I was like, do I want to do tower defense? I don't know. Did you ever play Arknights?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, so that's another big one of these kind of gotcha style tower defense. And I did play it as like a side game when I was playing raid for like, I don't know, maybe like a year, but it always felt not as good as raid. But I think I'm gonna agree with you here. This does feel as good, and I think it does check a lot of the boxes that I think we both enjoy. What do you think?
Yes, like I was gonna say, like I compare it to, like, I'm thinking tower defense back in the day, like, okay, you have these set units, you place them, you're really just trying to get out as many as possible, you're trying to get the strongest unit. They do the same thing. And so, like, okay, here it's the same concept as like raid and things like that, in terms of you have heroes, they have abilities, and now you just have to place them in certain places. And I love that strategy there. You have to really think about, okay, I'm gonna put this here, I'm gonna put this here, oh wait, if I put this 1 second sooner, it's better. So yeah, I really love that part of this.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you, actually. Like, to me, I do like the idea of tower defense, but like with something like Arknights, not to like trash it, it was really like, yes, you did summon your heroes or recruit them, whatever they called it in that game, but then you kind of have it, and then you're like, can I build them to their max level? And you're like, great, I built that legendary character, whatever they call it, the SSS character in that game, to max level, on to the next one. But this, I think what we're both kind of touching on here is it has this kind of like fresh, alive feeling that a game like Raid, that our standard gacha RPGs have, where there's gear, where there's different ways to take advantages of, you know, special abilities and passive abilities and this, that does keep it fresh. And then for me, I'm curious what you think about this, but for me, when you can combine that, then the building your heroes, customizing your heroes, building out their kits, then when you then combine that with like the dance, as I like to say, with the sequencing of placing units, timing things out, then to me, it's like a load of fun.
Exactly. Yes, it is a blast. Like and it's weird because you don't want to spend too much time in the game, and I think this kind of goes into the negative a little bit with
100%.
Players don't want to spend that much time on mobile games a lot of times. So there is a little bit of balance there, and I find myself spending 2, 3, 4 hours trying to beat something, and it's like, oh, if I can get that little tweak. And I watched you do the same thing the other day.
Yeah, you came on my stream. I promised my girlfriend the stream would be only like 4 hours max, and the stream is 7.5 hours, because you get so into it and it's so fun. You're like, I don't mind spending an hour on this stage. We were on trying to beat End of Heart campaign, and we spent 3 hours and 40 minutes beating those last 7 stages of Chapter 8 of Heart campaign. But yeah, the negative there, right, guys, is, hey, we've only been playing the game since, you're since Global, right, Beard?
Yes, Global.
Yeah, so we've only been playing the game a handful of weeks. I mean, I'm on day 26 of my account now. It's like, of course, it's fresh. It's like, I like to think of it as like the honeymoon phase of the game. But then there's the potential bad thing then are we going to kind of miss the old kind of like click, plug and play games where you don't have to use your brain because you don't want to 6 months into the game be grinding for 3 hours? I sure hope that's not the case, but I think that is a real potential negative, and it's going to be interesting to see how they go about helping us solve that and the game not becoming stale or like burdensome.
Yeah, it's going to be all about that balance, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Absolutely. Okay, should I pick up the next point then?
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about this in preparing for this video, but there definitely is an interesting dynamic going on between the two main servers you hear about, the two main places or main, let's say, timelines of gameplay that this game exists on. So I'm talking about the Forerunner server, which existed before the global launch, and then the global launch where I think a lot of us are living now. So maybe I'll let you pick it up, but there's a lot of good we get because the Forerunner server is about half a year ahead of us, but then there's a lot of really weird stuff that comes out of it that's kind of bad. What do you think, Beard?
Yeah, so the issue there is like, okay, every game, yes, you start out with like some kind of beta and things like that, but with the Forerunner, from what I'm hearing, and neither of us really have that experience with the Forerunner server, but from hearing other things being said about it, is there was a lot of confusion about what it really was, and that a lot of people potentially thought it was supposed to flow into global, and then that never happened. But there's a positive that, okay, for global, it's, yeah, things get tested and things like that. And on the flip side, though, the people that played on there and actually thought there was a potential for them to come to global and, you know, have this more advanced start, which I get it, you have to balance those things, but it sounds like the communication wasn't too clear there. I don't know what you've heard.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding with Forerunner, and I was not a Forerunner player, I actually joined on my first test account like a week after global, and then officially on this account like 2 or 3 weeks after global. But you see a lot of stuff in Discord about Forerunner. We see it on the creator Oasis, and of course you see some videos about it. My understanding is what you're saying, like a Forerunner, I've never heard the word Forerunner, but I think of like a beta server or like an alpha test of a game, right? Where they're like, hey, you guys get early access, maybe you're like experienced gamers, you were selected, give us your feedback, we're gonna iron that's a tongue twister, we're gonna iron out all the kinks so it's the most beautiful, amazing experience when we launch global, right? But it seems to me that the Forerunner is the exact same thing as global, or rather global is the same thing as a Forerunner, except global's on a 6-month delay. Let's use an example. Right when I started my original account, before I started my free-to-play series account, the one you guys are familiar with, it was the Silas and the Virna summoning event, the 10x event. So I did some snooping around because it was like this kind of like lovers 10x banner. That was a Valentine's Day banner. And you might be thinking, what are you talking about, buddy? It's July. Well, we're like 6 months behind Forerunner, and that was the Forerunner Valentine's Day banner, and they just like ran it back on a 6-month delay. And I don't know what you think, man, but to me, that's just like, what are you doing? What's the point of having these two servers? I thought you were going to learn things from Forerunner and then implement it. I don't mind a couples banner, but it just seems thing after thing after thing, notch after notch that I see. It's just, we're just the Forerunner server now, 2.0, not in terms of better, but 2.0 in terms of literally the second instance of it.
Yes, and I think the biggest gripe I have with it is, yeah, that banner is one good example, and I think that, I mean, I get it, banners have to rerun, and I guess maybe they didn't want to really wait until February next year to introduce those heroes, but like you said, they should have had some way to integrate a little bit better. But for me, the one thing that really kind of gets on my nerve a little bit is when you're doing the Forerunner server, you're making these enhancements to heroes and things like that along the way. Why are those things not released right when global is launched? Like,
That's
why did
such
we
a
not?
good point.
Yeah, we didn't get those. We didn't get those heroes in the intended
Or,
form.
if you don't mind me interrupting you here,
Yeah.
you guys know I'm putting out a lot of content on Gear Raid 1, a lot of content. Let me pull up the gallery on Lightlock. Everyone is getting in the comments, but didn't you see MawBucket? Shout out to MawBucket. That MawBucket said Lightlock got nerfed on the Forerunner server. And then I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? If they're going to nerf him on the Forerunner server, just nerf him right now. But no, they're not doing that. It's on like this weird delay. And now it's like we're hiding, being like, when do we build him? Is it on the 6-month delay? What is it? Like, if they're going to nerf someone somewhere, then hey, you've done your due diligence. You figured out that, I mean, it's a nerf or rework, whatever you want to call it. You want to make a change? That's fine. Make a change, but make the change now. You know, like, why do we need to wait 6 months or however long it's going to be to this beautiful Archmage guy here? Or another good example that Beard mentioned when we were off camera. Where was Azor? What faction was he in? I guess he's a defender. I can find him that way. Where is that guy? So this little dwarf guy that no one really loves from the Nightmare faction, Azor, not the best, not the best legendary in the game, but he did just get a bit of a rework, a buff. I mean, he's definitely better. However, guys, you might have been like, okay, cool, they heard the complaints from Global, they're fixing Azor. That is not the case. He was fixed on Forerunner months ago. And then they just chose to keep this weird pacing of us being whatever it is, 5 or 6 months behind them. And now we finally reached the point in that timeline where we get a buff on Azor. So 100% what you're saying, like, why are we sitting around waiting for these changes? Do your due diligence over there and then bring the only best product here into the proper global server, right?
Right. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the whole point of having that is for testing and okay, we're gonna make these tweaks so global's better. Not like, oh, let's start back from square one.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. Okay, should we get on to our last point? I think we got pretty passionate there.
Let's talk about the events, man. There's some really great events. There's been a very good, consistent, drop of events, and I think that some of the stuff we hear in the content creators Discord, and leads into like, okay, we got some potential cool things really coming in the future, and I think that the only kind of like downside to that is a little bit of the transparency issue. Like they were consistent in posting things on Discord, but now it seems like things aren't being posted on Discord. We're just seeing stuff.
Discord's
in the game.
a mess, man.
Yeah, and there's like no consistency between the announcements. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, for example, like you guys are seeing on screen right now, I'm running Gear Aid 3. So we have events like summoning events. We have events like cool things right now. We have this weird, it's with that rare wizard guy. I'll pull it up in a second where they're just giving us diamonds. That's cool. But then we also have like these tournaments. We have these Oracles trials. So I'll show you guys in a second when this battle ends. But right now we have one, what's it called? Forgotten Glory or Forgotten Memory, Forgotten something. But yeah, it's just a normal tournament. You grind this raid dungeon. Tomorrow, we're filming this Thursday afternoon right now, my time. Tomorrow is when the Lunaria event starts. And okay, that battle just ended, so I can actually show you guys. But coming with that, they've been slowly teasing, but a little too slowly, teasing the events that are coming. However, they have not told us in-game any at all of the Oracles trials that are going to come along with it. So let me show you guys very, very quickly. What do I mean? Well, let's look here. The orange is usually for the Oracle trials or the special events. So Forgotten Palace, not Forgotten Memory. I'm the one with the Forgotten Memory. I couldn't remember the name. But you see blue, guys, they're already, look at all these pictures of Lunaria. They're releasing all of these Lunaria shard summoning event specific things. But you can't see it right now. I'll put a picture up on the screen. They've shared on Discord, and if you go into the notices, they've also shared it. If you go here and you go to more info on pre-register shard summon, they have released the actual full calendar. Why wouldn't you, if you release a full calendar, why wouldn't you start including the Oracle trials? So this was a long-winded way of me saying, tomorrow we're getting whatever they call it, the Battle in the Sands or whatever that is, but the Gear Raid 2 tournament, the Oracle's trial, but it is not appearing in game. What a strange oversight that an extra step you're making your players do. Just make it clear on Discord, make it clear in game, be transparent, and stop being weird, right?
Exactly, man. And it's like the in-game calendar is what, just a week? Like, why can't that stay consistent? You see things popping in and out of that calendar throughout the week, and it's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why? It's only 7 days. Like, you should be able to play in ahead 7 days.
Yeah, or like, but if you're gonna, like, if you don't want to release anything, weird choice, but then don't tease anything. But why are you teasing like half the stuff? I don't get that. Another thing to point out, which is talk about transparency. We were just ranting to each other about this before we started filming. I pulled up a picture to hot sit here. If you look, I've got the event hall open. You can see we've got four different's a interesting word to use here, but four they've articulated as individual summoning banners that are arriving tomorrow in game on Friday, September 1st. So first off, it's a little cluttered because they separate whether you're doing the blue shards versus the orange shards, the gold shards, so the rare summoning crystals versus the legendary summoning crystals. So that's why you see here Invocation of Spirits, limited rate up, divine summon limited rate up with the picture of the card versus the ones with the picture of Hatsit. So yeah, if you click this one, you see 2 times during the event on legendary champions, the rate is doubled, a 2x event. Same exact thing with your legendary crystals in the divine summoning event. But then if we click here, you can see this Hatsit banner. And I made a video about it. It got a couple thousand views. You guys seem to really like it. A lot of people hopped on this train. What a crazy thing. We've all played Raid. We've played a lot of gachas. And here we are getting basically like a 20x. We're getting a 2x on legendary champions combined with a 10x rates on 3 selective legendaries, including Hatsit, and 2 epics. And everyone went nuts, right? I don't know. Were you getting hyped for this, Speared?
Yes, I mean, I'm ready. I want Hatsit, I want Cetrum, but then they freaking...
Yeah, well, I've got some bad news for you, buddy, because we don't actually know what's going to happen. So if you click here, people got in my comments and like, no, dude, there's one banner for 10x and there's one banner for 2x. No, let me read it to you. the drop rate of legendary heroes increases by 2 times, and operative connecting word there, and that of designated heroes by 10 times on the event. So 2 times on legendary heroes, and these 5 designated heroes by down here are getting a 10x. So we were thinking we're getting a 2x and a 10x. And we thought that until today. So if you go to the notices, the first thing, talk about confusion, like talk about opaqueness. 1, special summons 10x drop rate for featured heroes. Nothing about it being on the same banner with the 2x at the same time. During the event, the total drop rates of heroes with the same rarity will remain the same. That is the exact opposite of what I'm in the game right now. It's not like a Discord versus in the game. That's the exact opposite in the notice than if we go to the event calendar. Like, what is going on? Can you explain this to me?
I wish I could, man. Now, I do believe, I will say, I do believe this is going to be similar to the Salazar Zilla2 thing. They're existing heroes. They're not new heroes. So I'm going to be hopeful and say, okay, it's going to be 2 times and 10 times. But the communication, man, the communication is not great.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a great place. We brought a lot of fire into this conversation. I think it's a great place to start tidying up. I'm going to let you know I'm going to ask you, Beard, if you have any closing thoughts for a second. But just to recap, we talked about the gameplay. It's really fresh, you know? It's bringing this kind of gearing, cool gotcha element, kind of customizable strategy of building your champions, along with the really fresh for a lot of us strategy of tower defense, of this little sequence choreographed dance. I'm kind of dancing as I talk about that, which is really cool, you know? But then is that going to be stale? You know, another way we actually didn't talk about that, good thing I'm touching on this now, it's really fun now when you figure out, oh, I finally beat Gear Raid 1 Stage 18 for the first time, or maybe you're advanced and you finally are towards the end of Gear Raid 3, you know, and you're getting those crazy ones like Gear Raid 20, Gear Raid 21, right? That's so cool. Is it going to be as exciting once you've maxed those out and then you're waiting for new dungeon or new raid stages to come in 6 months? And until then, it's just like you're playing Raid Shadow Legends again and you just press auto farm. Is it going to get stale? We don't know. And then we've got this weird connection on the second point between the Forerunner server and then whatever the heck the global server is. Is it just Forerunner server plus 6 months? Is that how it is? We're, I guess, minus 6 months. We're just on a delay. And then finally, we've got these great events. We got these cool shard summoning things. We got these cool fusion things. A lot of cool things coming, but then we don't ever really know what's true. They're not telling us at the same time for different things. We're getting conflicting messages. I think that sums it up. Any final things you want to say here, Beard, before we close this one out?
I guess I do want to touch on a little bit more positive on that last point.
Please,
I feel like we got a little off in the.
Yes. Don't get us wrong, guys. We love this game.
Yeah,
so
we
Beard,
do.
Come on, bring a little sunshine. What do you got for me?
So I just want to say, like, from the content creator's perspective, I mean, they are very supportive. There are still communication issues, but they are very supportive of content creators. They're doing the giveaways. They're trying to. They might have botched the first one, but you know, they're trying to help us out, give you guys some rewards and things like that. And they're giving away a lot of stuff in game. The game gives a lot of summons, a lot of things, very free to play friendly. I do want to, say I do think it's definitely free to play friendly. There can be a big gap between the pay to win, but it's very good gameplay. And I just want to let you guys know, like, okay, even though we talked about some negative things at the end, it's still very, very positive.
Absolutely. And what a layup that was, because now let's transition into, I'm sure I'm carting to it right above me, the video that will be featured on Beard's channel, where we do talk about the perspective differences between free-to-play and pay-to-win. Is it free-to-play friendly? Short answer, yes, but there's a much longer answer you're going to want to see. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. I have been Fastidious. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy me, please like, comment, subscribe, share it with your mom. But more importantly, if you love Beard, which I'm sure you like him as much as I do now, why don't you head over to his channel, show him some love, get in the comments, like those videos, but most importantly, subscribe. He deserves way more attention than he's getting, and I want to make sure he gets it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Fasty. Thanks, everyone. Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Fastidious.